2006 Kia Grand Carnival, and the wheel stud has snapped. Now luckily it's not spinning loose, because that could be a whole big drama of taking the knuckle off. But shouldn't be a hard job, should be straightforward. First we'll get the wheel off, and all I should have to do is knock that stud hard enough a couple of times, get it out. And with a lot of cars, there's generally enough room at a certain point near the caliper where you can get a wheel stud out without having to take the whole rotor off. But we'll see what we face when we get there. First of all, I'll get this wheel off, and we'll have a look what's going on. Alright, well you can see the wheel stud there. It's sticking out enough to hit, and the rotor's going to have to come off, because there's just no room behind here to feed that out if I knock it through. And I have done other cars where that hasn't been a problem. Knock it out, and then you just turn the rotor to a point where it can be fed out and push another one in, off you go. But in this case I can't, so I'm going to have to take the caliper off and the caliper mount off to get the rotor off. And I'm going to have to undo these two screws here. So before I start taking all this off here, I'm just going to give them spots a bit of a WD-40 spray, and we'll get into it. So two 14mm bolts here, and get that off, and it makes it a lot easier to change brake pads on these guys. So we'll get that off. Just check that there for now. Double piston, it's alright. Pads are still good. Plenty of beef on them. So yeah, changing brakes on these guys is a pretty easy job to do. Now I've got another two bolts to undo. I think it's 17mm. Okay, so after removing the two 17mm bolts from the back there, you can remove this. I've put a clamp on there with an old brake pad just to hold the cylinders there in, stop them coming out and making it hard to put the brake pads back on when I'm ready. I've WD'd these screws here, so in a minute I'm going to take them out, but first of all I'm going to give the thread there a whack. Well, I have to stop recording so I can put this down, but basically that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be hitting it a few times with a hammer, knock that through. Once that's loose, then I'll undo these two screws and take that rotary out. Okay, so that's knocked through now. Now to my surprise, when I got the screwdriver onto this, make sure you got one that fits perfectly, because these are likely to thread as well if they're really hard to get off, so you want to make sure you got the right size screwdriver. But off the WD-40 played a part there, but these are loose as, so not loose as, just really easy to undo, you know. Yeah, it was effortless to undo them. So now the rotor come off. There's the old stud there. And if I can get, I'll have to take it out of park. Okay, so basically I was trying to find a couple of nuts, but I just used whatever I could as spaces here. So lock this in, and now just to pull that in. I'm going to give it a few taps on the back as well, help it along. Once I get that flush, we're good to go. Alright, so that's got that there. That's all nice and done. So take that off. Job's done, so now I just put it all back together. Also a good idea just to give the rotors a quick clean. I'll just use a bit of metho, clean the area up. I had some grease from my fingers on there, some WD-40 was running, so get rid of all that rubbish. We don't need that interfering with the brake pads, because they're going to feel that every time you hit one of those spots on the brake pad, you're going to feel the jolt and the pedal and so forth until that's burnt away. So yeah, just give that area a clean up. Alright, well that's it, job done. Just remember with Kias, the nuts go on with the hubcap, not before the hubcap. I've known people who've made that mistake of putting the wheel nuts on first, and they can't work out why they can't get the hubcap on. So yeah, the nuts hold the hubcap on in place, so these don't come off. Alright, that's it. Cheers guys, thanks for watching.